In this video, I'm going to talk about gig work like Amazon Flex and DoorDash, my experience with it, and what I think you guys should do in 2025. So, gig work has been around for some time now. I've been doing it for like about 5 years on and off. Like sometimes I've been doing it full time, especially when I was in college. But now, since I'm grown and I have a family and all that, it's just like it's kind of harder to do it and fit it in. But all in all, what I really like about it is the flexibility. The thing about it is, it still is a great option in 2025 because of that flexibility. If you get off work at 5 or whatever you're doing, as far as like if you work in the mornings, night shifts, whatever it is, you can always try to fit in a couple orders in, day out, and all that. So that's, at the end of the day, that's kind of like, the thing about DoorDash. And I think what I really like about DoorDash is because it gives you that flexibility, right? You don't have to do it in the morning. You don't have to do it at night. You don't even have to do it at all. You know what I'm saying? Like if it snows that day, you don't gotta go. Like if I mean, obviously it depends if you gotta make some money, and honestly, those are like probably the best times to go because you probably get some good orders. But at the end of the day, one thing I will say about DoorDash and even Amazon Flex, I mean even Instacart, all those gig work is very flexible. It's very easy to do. It's not really hard. It's not hard work. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if you're gonna put in all day like 12-hour shifts, then yes, it's gonna be hard. Like any job, it is difficult. There's always annoying things that you have to do. Like one thing I will say is like being patient. Like if you don't have patience, probably gig work is not good for you because you're gonna have to wait in the restaurant for food. For people, sometimes you go in the restaurant and the order's not done or the order didn't even start yet. Or the short staff. I mean, you're definitely gonna hear short staff. That's like a thing. Let me know, comment down below, guys, if you have any experience with gig work and what's your thoughts on it. But my experience, I mean, honestly, it's been a good one. I love gig work. I love DoorDash, Amazon Flex, Instacart. I'm kind of new to Instacart. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, my experience is kind of limited. But Amazon Flex and DoorDash are like kind of my go-tos. Especially Amazon Flex because I feel like, I mean, it is more guaranteed. So like basically how it works is if they give you like 3, 4, hour shifts, it's only like 3 to 4 hour shifts, sometimes 2 hour shifts. But basically you kind of pick those up. They're not, you can't just go like DoorDash where you can just hit, go online and then, you get orders. It doesn't kind of work like that. It's more like you have to kind of like plan it throughout the week. You actually have to go see if there's shifts available. And especially depending on where you live, I will say that's another thing too, doing DoorDash and gig work in general, just because if you live in a small town, you're probably not going to get that much orders, because there's not that much people. But if you work in an area like downtown Chicago or New York, you're going to get a lot of orders, right? So that's one thing I will say about gig work. But one thing I will say about Amazon Flex is kind of like guaranteed. So you might get like 3 hours, $60, $70, even $80. I've seen it high as like $100. Like it's even more than that. Like it really is nice because of that option. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to worry about like how much you're gonna make, because sometimes on DoorDash, like I go outside and I try to make some money and I'm gonna be like, oh, I try to strive for like $20 to $25 an hour. But sometimes you don't make that. There's some days where it's just not that busy. If you go on a Tuesday, you're probably not gonna get that much. But if you go on a Friday, you're probably gonna make way more than what you expected to make. So that's one thing I will say about DoorDash versus like Amazon Flex. And then Instacart, how I do it, I just kind of like let it run in the background and kind of like if there's an order that comes on, like it might be like a $20 order for like to go like 3 miles, then I'll do it or something like that. I try to go for like the big ones. Kind of like DoorDash is kind of my main thing that I double it with. Amazon Flex, I kind of like if I get one order, I mean, if I get a shift for like $70 for 3 hours, then I'll just do that. And then maybe I'll dash at night or something like that. It's kind of like one of those things where if you kind of use both, I feel like, if anybody does gig work, you're not just doing one app. You're doing multiple apps, whether it's Uber Eats, DoorDash. I did try Uber Eats, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it as much as DoorDash, just because I don't know. I never had that much good. Like I didn't had a good experience with it. It's not a good experience for me. But DoorDash, I think it's really good just because you get a lot of orders. Everybody uses DoorDash. Everybody uses DoorDash. I just used DoorDash last night. Like everybody does. It's normal. It's so common now. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, it's probably wasn't as common. Well, before COVID, it probably wasn't as common. But then obviously COVID kind of changed the dynamic of everything. So, gig work is kind of more like acceptable, I guess you can say, or more common. You can go to anybody. I know at least at least one person that does gig work, whether it's Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, whatever it is. But I mean, honestly, like all in all, I really love doing gig work. It's fun for me. I like driving, so that's another thing. If you like driving, that it's a great option. If you're patient, it's a great option. If you're trying to like, if you're in between things, like if you just quit your job and you're trying to like find another job, you can do gig work. Or you're starting a business, you need some money, you can do gig work. If you're in college, you don't, you're trying to make some extra money, but you need to study, you need that, you need a specific time to, work, then you can do gig work. Like it's so like flexible. So that's what I love about gig work, and I hope it never goes away, which it's never going to go away. It doesn't seem like that's the thing, but at the end of the day, I think gig work is here to stay, and I think everybody should experience gig work in a way. And unless you're making like over six figures, then yeah, you shouldn't worry about it. But at the end of the day, like it's a great option, especially if you're trying to like save specific amounts of money. Like I made a video like last week or 2 weeks ago, talking about how I saved 10K in 1 year, and that's one of the reasons how I did it is because I used gig work. You know what I mean? I did DoorDash, I did Amazon Flex, and that was apart from all my my side job. I mean my job in general. And so I will say, make sure you guys do gig work. It's worth it. Definitely worth it in 2025. I have all good things to say about it. The one thing, there's obviously a couple things, here and there where it's kind of annoying. You always have to keep track of your miles. You kind of like have to worry about like taxes. It's there's all these little things that you have to kind of worry about. But all in all, the flexibility, like not having anybody kind of over your head, like if you don't feel like doing it, you can just go home. Like it's a great feeling, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I will say. Another thing I will say about gig work is just because you don't have to go one day, or you don't have to, let's say if it's 5 o'clock and you're starting to like get bored, you can just go home. Obviously depends on your situation and all that, but like at the end of the day, especially if you like have a specific plan on when you go and how you go and how much you want to make a specific amount, time a week. Like if you're trying to make like $500 a week, $1,000 a week, or whatever it is, like as long as you reach that goal, then you can just finish early. Like you can really double up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then maybe have like Sunday off or Saturday and Sunday off. I wouldn't recommend that because Saturday's pretty busy, but Sunday you can have Sunday off or whatever it is. Or what you can do, you can just not do Monday, and you can just maybe not do the middle of the week so much. You can kind of focus more towards the end of the week. It's all flexible, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like all flexible. You can make, there's no kind of I don't want to say there's a limit you can make, because I mean you're not gonna make $3,000 a week. You're not gonna do that. Maybe there's some people out there that do that. I never seen that before, but it is possible to at least definitely make at least $1,000. Definitely make $500 easy. So honestly, I think that's another thing that's nice about it. It's kind of like you can kind of control how much you actually make, and you kind of can figure out exactly your schedule. And you don't have no boss. It's you're an independent contractor. You know what I mean? You have to do a 1099 at the end for when you try to file your taxes. Like you're the boss, so you don't got to worry about that. You know what I mean? That's what's nice about it too. It gives you that freedom, especially if you're kind of just trying to figure out what you want to do. Whether, like I said, if you're in school or not in school, whatever it is, like you kind of just control your time. You can control your life more doing gig work. So gig work is really for everybody, anybody, whether, like I said, whether you're in college, whether you're, want to make this a full-time thing, whether you're just trying to do it a part-time thing, double it up against your job, or if you're trying to like, if something happened where you end up getting fired or you quit, you can, work DoorDash until you kind of find a situation that's, good for you. At the end of the day, DoorDash is great. Gig work in general is great. Amazon Flex, Uber Eats, Instacart is all good for you. So I would definitely recommend it in 2025. So make sure you guys do comment down below any experiences that you had with gig work. What's your thoughts on it? What's the highest you ever made in 1 week, 1 month, whatever it is, in 1 year, too. So let me know down below. Appreciate you guys coming in, and make sure you guys be on the lookout because I am launching a bookkeeping business that's coming soon. I just finished the website today. I'm very excited about that. I've been in accounting for 4 years now. And have a few years as for bookkeeping experience as well. So it's I've been super excited about this. I've been trying to launch this for a while now. That's why you guys haven't seen me post as much. I mean, not that I have that much followers, but for the people that have been riding with me, appreciate you. So make sure you guys do subscribe. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Comment down below, like I said, and I'll see you in the next video.